Hello and welcome to a video that's sort of a current state of my guitars, and it's in a not such a good way. So the vast majority of my guitars are in pretty good condition right now, but I've had a little bit of trouble, a little bit of bad luck recently with a couple of my guitars. So let's start off with the first one, which you could argue isn't technically a guitar, it's my bass guitar. And here it is, it's my 2016 Fender Standard Precision Bass, it's the Mexican Standard Precision Bass, and for the most part it plays really nicely. Just like that. There's a little problem I've been having with it, and that is actually to do with this bridge saddle right here. So they're always slightly angled a little bit differently on bass, just to give you a little bit of a sort of helping hand of how thick the string is. But twice this has now happened. This particular screw here has just completely decked, and then the other one soon follows. So I believe that there might be something wrong with them being too loose, or the socket having slightly threaded. So I'm going to have to look into getting, I don't know, maybe the saddle replaced. Although, to be honest, I've been thinking about just modding the hell out of this and putting in a really big chunky bridge. So I might have to change that. It's a shame because apart from that, it's a really, really well playing bass. It's a really, really good playing bass. It's just one small problem. And now let's go up to the next factor of the most broken instrument I own, which is my 2013 Fender Starcast, which you've probably seen in a couple of videos before. I've done the flat wound strings video on this. It still has the flat ones on, which I really quite like actually. They've now I've gotten used to them. They're really lovely strings, especially like how sort of smooth and slidey they are. You've also probably seen the review of it, and you saw a video probably before. I actually had a little bit of problem with it, where I had the old string tree actually just popped out, just flew right out, and I had to sort of buy this new, I think it's a Graphtec one, screw it in, and that's been playing well so far, but a couple of little issues have been here or there finally sort of come to a head, and I'm gonna now have to get them properly fixed. Firstly being the switch, which keeps sort of moving sideways, but it's been, other than the fact that it sort of loosens, I have to keep twisting it back into place, retightening it again. It had a problem quite a few years ago where it just wouldn't pick up the bridge pickup at all. Neck fine, bridge pickup, complete silence, and I don't believe it's the pickup that was fault, because if you wiggle it enough, it comes back to life. I actually gave it into a shop and the guy couldn't see anything wrong, because whenever he flicked it, it just worked. Made me think I was just imagining it. Months and months later, it started doing it again. It ever so occasionally creeps back up on me. That's not the worst. Let's keep going into more worseness. Firstly, this tone knob. If you actually remember the video I did on it, I should have brought this up, the fact that you turn it all the way and then it can turn a little bit more. It's not properly seated. The guitar took a little bit of a bash, and now this tone knob is loose in the socket, so yeah. Now that wouldn't be the end of the world if it was the fact that this wasn't a sort of semi-hollow body guitar, then I could just take a back panel off or something and just retighten it, but it's completely semi-hollow. So to get into it, you have to go through the actual F-holes themselves, and I like messing around with my guitars, but I'm not so sure how well I would manage to not cock that up really. And then of course we have the loose jack socket again. Once again, wouldn't be a problem apart from the fact that this one has actually bitten the dust. You can stick it in, it'll lock in, but no sound whatsoever. So this guitar is basically, for all intents and purposes, an acoustic guitar by this point, because that's all the sound we're going to get out of it. Now, with this guitar, I had planned to actually change some of the electronics, modify it a bit. For example, I want to have just a master tone and volume. I want to put in better sockets, because these guitars are really, really nice, but they've sort of, you can see where they've cheaped out a little bit here or there on them, because I think they're from the Chinese factory, so just because the Starcast to be made like in Mexico, Japan, or America would cost loads more. So they did them in the Chinese factory, in the Suzuki factory, just to cut costs, I think, and to get a guitar of this quality for that price is, I kind of think that's where you had to go. They've actually started doing Squire ones now. They're not the same factory, but the same people built this. Really good playing guitar, like the Squires tend to be. But as you know, you kind of want to change electronics if you can. So at this point, I guess I've really forced into it. So I might keep the pickups, I'm not too sure. I think I've seen ones by a brand called, I think it's the Creamery pickups, that do ones that are meant to be sort of the original, I forget the actual like combination of metals, but these are Alnico ones, whereas the original wide range humbuckers are actually a different combination of metals, or a different sort of compound metal, whichever however you say it. And I think their company does those, so I'm thinking about maybe getting those swapped out. But what I do want to get swapped out is, like I said, new pickup switch, absolutely, get like a Switchmaster or something like that. Get these changed to be just a master tone, master volume, and maybe probably fill the holes, maybe have one of them as like as a coil tap, and then get just a whole new, I just want to get all the electronics just redone to make it a bit nicer. It's not the only mod I fancy doing for it, but currently, if I want to be using this guitar properly, they're the first things I'm going to have to get done, and I think we should probably go out and actually fix the whole thing. Although currently we're in quarantine right now, so it's going to be a bit tricky to get that done, so it'll have to be in the near future with any luck. And finally, we're on to our last guitar. This is my lawsuit era Tiso Suzuki copy of a Gibson Hummingbird. Lovely guitar, lovely old thing. It was a guitar my dad used to play when I was a kid, and partially what made me want to play guitar was always wanting to play this thing. And I think it has a bad time around Christmas, because in the new year I've had a little bit of trouble with it. And in fact, I think not last Christmas, but the Christmas before that, it had to go to the guitar hospital. It had to go to the luthier before to have a issue fixed with its neck, which you might actually be able to see the line just there as to where it took a bit of a tumble. Had to have the neck taken off and fixed. One big thing and one small thing is firstly, actual screw that goes in here that's meant to sort of help with adjustment of the height of the bridge, which from what we found out doesn't actually seem to do anything. It's actually come out, and I thought it would be an easy fix to try and find a replacement like this, but I've not been able to find it. This one occasionally comes loose too, so I'm sort of really worried about losing that. I might actually have to get those made. Bit annoying. And then the other thing, the big thing, the reason why this is last and sort of the most dire need is, you can see the string's very loose there. Even with the flute in place, as you can see, it's had a crack all the way down the neck. Now, it seems to have been holding tension, but I'm not risking it. I've loosened these right off. I don't want to damage this any further. It is, if you look at there, you might be able to see, it's not the worst crack in the world, like it hasn't completely come off. You see there, the flute has cracked slightly, so it's saved it to some degree. But it had a bit of a fight with the gate, and as you can see, the gate won, unfortunately. So I'm gonna get this guitar fixed. I do have a luthier in mind who I'm going to go use, the guy who actually fixed this before. I'm going to send him all my guitars to go and be fixed. But I decided with this guitar that it's so dear to me that I'm going to put it into retirement after it gets fixed. So I'm still going to play it at home, I'm going to play it all the time. I'm just not going to take it out much, or at least, you know, maybe for a special occasion. But I think for the near future, this guitar should be put into retirement. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this video of just sort of a little update of the state of my guitars. And if you enjoyed this, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.